go back to is sort of how we work in social media. There's a guy named Chris Brogan. Does anyone know his name? He's also another social media god, or so he thinks. He came up with these golden rules of social media, and I strongly believe them. Community is a privilege, not property. You can't control the community. You can't control what people are saying. You can't stop a conversation, but you can learn from it. Companies are always so afraid of what people are going to say about them. Well, if you're so worried about it, then what are you doing wrong that they're going to say bad things about you? You should be more concerned about what you're doing that's generating negativity. Bigger companies are more likely to get more negative stuff, but frankly, negative comments are an opportunity to respond to and get more press and showing what you're made of. So even though there are a lot of companies who are afraid to delve into this world of blogging because, oh, we might get a negative comment. Yeah, well, maybe it's good that you know about the negative comment rather than not know about it. So there's a lot of ways to look at that. Social media is not about direct selling. It's a place to offer valuable content and be helpful. That's one of the biggest mistakes, and particularly in the real estate, when people are direct selling all day long, selling a house, selling a whatever, you have to shift in a different gear with social media. So there's a real estate agent with William Ravis, her name is Doris Gittleman, and she creates videos about Fairfield County, the best coffee houses in Fairfield County. She has a series that's just about community things, what's going on in the school systems, what sports teams won. She literally is saying, I know about Fairfield County. I am the person you want to go to if you want to buy a house here because I know this community. She's not saying buy this house and this listing. She's saying, I know this community, and I can be helpful. I can help you find a new place to live because I know this community. That's what it's about. And also be human, like really be human. Don't write like corporate. Don't have corporate press releases being posted on Twitter. That's not what people care about. Write something, have the CEO write something. Have people write from their real perspective. When I write a blog post, I often tell a story about some experience. For instance, Mom, I hope you don't mind, but there was a blog post about when my mother said, Catherine, get me on Facebook, and my sisters got upset. They said, Mom's trying to friend all my friends. I said, well, tell them to say no if they don't want to be friends. So I wrote a blog post. I told that story, and I said, it's not your mother's Facebook, or maybe it is. Because the story was, the 55 and older audience is the fastest growing audience on Facebook. So I told a story that was entertaining, and lots of people could relate to it, and it was really talking about a statistic about how fast Facebook is growing in a certain demographic. Be passionate. I don't know if you can tell I'm kind of passionate about social media. Your customer, your clients should be passionate about what they do, and they should be able to show that out there in the world. That's what's actually going to sell whatever they're selling, that they believe in what they're doing. So what we do is we monitor, we figure out where the niche is, we create a content strategy, we figure out where the content should go based on where the audience is, and then we monitor and refine that strategy based on the metrics. Again, this is our strategy. We comment on articles out there that drive traffic back to our site, to our blog. We write about things like, the example of David Meerman Scott, write about an industry book, get the author's attention, which then gets attention of his followers. We post status on LinkedIn that gets distributed to Twitter and Facebook and all the other properties, so you can figure out how to post in one place and it distributes content everywhere. We consider our blog the hub of content, and from the blog, everything goes out from there, and in most cases in an automated fashion. So it's like people say, how do I do all this stuff? You just create a channel, content channel, and you figure out where the channel starts and what direction it goes in. And you're writing one piece of content, and it goes everywhere. Tweets on media trends in my industry is what matters to me. What does your client want to be an authority on? So this is me. I can be here and answer any questions you want until probably, I don't know, 9:15. I gotta get home at some point. But I'm happy to answer questions now or in person. Yes?
You talked about the automated distribution to multiple social media platforms. part of social media, right? Not just
Yes.
putting the content out there, but then the engagement, the conversation that occurs.
Right.
It bothers me when I see people who I follow on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn that they have the same conversation posted. Do you know what I mean? Like, I really, when I work with my clients, I really discourage
The automation.
because it's not, it's more of, it's a quick way to get content out everywhere. It's not true engagement. So I kind of am curious about your comment about that, and also back to your dog watch, where they don't have to even touch their Facebook page. But again, it's missing the engagement. Engagement is where the traction really gains.
And you know what, I totally agree with you. And when I talk about that, it's sort of like the first step.
Right.
So for instance, after the dog watch dealers get their content posted, we monitor the pages for comments. And if somebody needs to be responded to, we make sure they get responded to immediately. That's part of our service, is monitoring and either commenting or getting, the corporate, or having the dealer actually respond. For me, because of the way my system is set up for our company, when I post it in one place and it goes everywhere, there are usually different people on Twitter than they are on LinkedIn, and there's usually an understanding that this is just what I said today, and it's just being distributed lots of places. And then some people comment on LinkedIn and some people comment on Twitter. There's still a conversation, but it's, I still put a lead in that says, I just read this article, I thought it was fabulous. It's still personal, it's just, again, it's distribution. It's more like, if I post the same thing on all those places, it doesn't matter if I do it with a click of one button or three. Do you know what I mean? But it was still, again, it's not generated by a robot. The content itself is generated by me. Do you know what I mean? And the stuff that's generated, for instance, some of the dog watch dealers are going to pay for a premium service in which we actually find location-based content. So what things are happening in the Cincinnati area, and if that Cincinnati dealer wants stuff that's relative to their area, maybe we'll find what's happening at the local shelters and, I don't know, dog leashing laws in Cincinnati, whatever the things are that are relative to that audience, we customize. But what we actually encourage those dealers to do is so we give them tips every month. We send them an email every month and we say, okay, every time you get a new customer, bring your camera, take a picture of the owner and the dog, and post it on Facebook and say, welcome new customer, Fido. So we give them ideas of how to create personalized content that engages their customer. So, it's funny because I totally agree with you, and yet what I find myself always in defense of is that people are always saying, there's so much, I can't do it all. So I'm just trying to get people to, say, if you do this, there are ways to make it not so time intensive. Do you know what I mean? Yes?
Hi.
Hi.
So after that first post, how do you monitor 200 Facebook pages?
So the service sendable, every single comment or everything is tracked and sendable about each Facebook page.
So if someone comments on one of the
Yeah.
pages, you get an alert or something? Or
Yeah.
how does that?
Yep. But it's also on a dashboard, so we have somebody who daily monitors Jive and Sendable and all of that. Yeah. I'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm a convert. I'm
Excellent.
going to start a blog, and I have a real general question that maybe you can help me, somebody
Yep.
else can. In order to get the most bang for my buck from SEO, should I do it on my website? Should I have it right there? I've already set up a copy to do it in WordPress, but should it be hosted right in my website?
Yeah, I think that you should use your domain /blog or blog dot your domain.
Okay. So
I-
then I'll
we
pick up
didn't-
the
Yeah.
juice for my
Yeah.
website.
I just want you to know that we didn't do that, and the reason we didn't do that is because we're in the middle of a brand change. We're changing our name of our company, and we branded our blog independently because we weren't sure where we were headed with that. So our blog is actually impressionsthroughmedia.com, and I see the downside of that search engine wise, but again, it's like having two properties, right? So there's a trade-off. Okay? Yes.
When you speak about monitoring and trying to look at metrics of what worked and what didn't work, with the the Jive tool in Sendable, are you able to see specifically what tweets or what Facebook posts drove traffic to your site on what days and who your power users are and stuff like that? How many people repeatedly
Yes.
retweet you?
Yes, and we can also block all the stuff that's junk. We can actually say, don't show me anything from this website anymore because it's getting caught in the keywords and it's not relevant, and then it kind of reshuffles all the data. But it's like, I get an alert from the Jive account every time one of our keywords, if I want them, every time one of our keywords is hit for our company. And I could do that for every client. I can see who retweets, I can see who comments, without logging in to the individual properties, which is great.